Hello, I am presenting my Module 2 project, the 4 different tissue models and the skin model. I have to record this on my phone because I was having issues trying to film on my computer. So I am going to just flip back and forth between the models and me. So for my first tissue model, I chose to make a model of the simple squamous epithelium. Epithelium tissue, there are multiple kinds. Simple epithelial cells are one layer. There is stratified, which is more than one layer. There's pseudostratified, which gives the appearance like it's more than one layer, but it's not. It's actually just one. There are different types of cells. So my model is the squamous, which are flat and pancake-like. There are cuboidal, which are cube-shaped. There is columnar as well, which is in the shape of columns. And this tissue lines the body's surfaces and is responsible for filtration, absorption, protection, and secretion. So here is I don't even think I can flip my camera around, so I am going to just show it here. So this is my model of the simple squamous epithelium. And I put that it's found in kidney tubules, the lining of the capillaries, and the alveoli of the lungs, and the function is FAPS, which I just discussed. So the next tissue that I did a model of is fluid connective tissue. Connective tissue is another type of another of the 4 major tissue types. There is connective tissue proper. There is loose, which is like fat, and then there's also dense, which is found in muscles. It protects and stores energy and aids with movement. The supportive connective tissue is hyaline, fibrous, and elastic cartilage that strengthens and adds structure to the body. And then the one I did the model of, the fluid connective tissue, the one I did was blood. So I tried to make my models for the tissues like as if you were looking through a microscope at them. So hopefully it makes sense when you look at it. So this is the model. So the white is like the backdrop, and then the red dots are the erythrocytes, the red blood cells, which have oxygen and carbon dioxide that they carry. The blue is a lymphocyte. There are leukocytes in blood which aid in immunity, and there are also platelets which are involved in blood clotting. So that was my model for the fluid connective tissue. The next model of tissue is muscle tissue. I chose to model the skeletal muscle tissue, but there is also cardiac muscle tissue, which is found in the heart. It helps to pump blood throughout the body. There is also visceral, or also known as smooth muscle tissue, which lines the walls of hollow organs. And then the skeletal muscle tissue is obviously found around the bones, and it helps with movement. And let's see, the cardiac and skeletal muscle are striated, and the skeletal muscle is multinucleated, while the cardiac and smooth muscles have one nucleus. So my model of the skeletal muscle tissue is here. Hoping it won't fall when I put it up. So I did label the different areas. So the white lines are supposed to be the striations. And then the little blue dots are examples of the many nuclei, I should say, inside of the muscle tissue. And then I just also put that it's found attached to bones and aids in voluntary movement. And then the final type of tissues is nervous tissue. So this includes neurons and neuroglial cells. They are responsible for sending and receiving electrical signals throughout the bodies. So I chose the nervous tissue, particularly the nerve found in the spinal cord. It is responsible for sending and receiving electrochemical signals. And then I just put neuron and neuroglia are the two examples of nervous tissue. I did label the structure. So the endoneurium, the white part of the inside circle is myelin. The purple dot inside of the circle is an axon. And very, it's kind of hidden, but the darker purple splotches, like bean shapes, that's a Schwann cell nucleus. So that was my example of nervous tissue. So the last is the skin. I'm gonna try and show it all to you, but I'm afraid if I hold it up, it's not going to work. So I can't flip my camera around either. So I guess I'll just go over the different areas, and then I will try and show you them. Let's see. All right, so the 3 layers of the skin are the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. The epidermis, it contains either 4 or 5 layers depending on the area of the body. So there are 5 layers, which include the stratum lucidum in areas of thick skin, such as the palms of our hands, the pads of our fingers, and the soles of our feet. There is the stratum corneum, which is the top layer, the stratum lucidum that I just mentioned. The stratum granulosum is the next one. It has a grainy appearance. The stratum spinosum has a spiny appearance. The stratum basal is made up of basal cells, which are cuboidal-shaped stem cells. The dermis, there is the reticular and papillary layer. The papillary layer is loose areolar connective tissue, and the reticular layer is made up of dense irregular connective tissue. And the last layer of skin, the hypodermis, contains adipose and areolar loose connective tissue. It is involved in fat storage and insulation and cushioning. And then there are the accessory structures. So the eccrine gland and the apocrine gland are responsible for the sweat, and then the Meissner's corpuscle and the Pacinian corpuscle are responsible for feeling touch and pain. And then there is the hair follicle, the bulb, and the hair shaft, which I'll show. And then lastly, there's the sebaceous oil gland, which is responsible for creating oils. So here I'm gonna try and show this without it falling. Let me just make sure it's lined up. So I did put them side by side. So the left side would be an example of thick skin. So it has the 5 layers, the stratum corneum, stratum lucidum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and then the stratum basal. And then this side, it does not have the stratum lucidum. So this will be where thin skin, an area of thin skin. There is not hair in the thicker skin, so I did put the hair follicle here. That's supposed to be the hair poking out of the skin. And then this is the erector pili muscle, which is attached to the hair follicle, the sebaceous oil gland, the adipose tissue, the fat tissues. I didn't have the exact color that I wanted, but I did draw little circles in there to try and show that. The Pacinian corpuscle, the eccrine gland, the apocrine gland. And then I did try and show that the stratum granulosum was like grainy. And then I did etch out in the Shadow Basil these little spots here, and that would be where the Meissner's Crepuscule would be. So that is my presentation of the Module 2 project. I'll upload pictures of the 5 models, and then also I have like notes that you saw I was referring to, so I'll just upload a picture of that as well. And thank you very much, and thank you for allowing me to submit this by the end of the day. I really appreciate it. All right, thank you. Bye.